Once again, 100% of New Hampshire Democrats voted against parents knowing what is happening with their own children in our public schools. Democrats in New Hampshire just struck down a bill requiring schools to tell parents about their children's gender identity. So we're semi going to stay with this topic right now because these states and this news is driving it. The state's GOP chairman hit back with this tweet. Once again, 100% of New Hampshire Democrats voted against parents knowing what is happening with their own children in our public schools. According to a conservative parents group, at least 168 school districts nationwide, governing nearly 6,000 schools, have guidance on the books to block parents from knowing about their child's gender identity. That covers more than 3 million children.
So it seems that in New Hampshire, every single Democrat in Congress has voted down a bill that would allow parents to be allowed to look at the school's curriculum and what your children are being taught. Even scarier, however, is the fact that teachers and other school staff members can safely indoctrinate your children into the LGBTQ ideology without your knowledge, and legally, there's nothing you can do about it. For example, if your child decides to identify as the opposite sex and utilize a different name, school officials are not only legally allowed to hide this from parents, but are also encouraged to keep parents out of the loop, which is absolutely insane. Remember when school is supposed to be about education? And isn't it interesting that children cannot learn about God and scripture, but can be brainwashed to believe that homosexual ideology is okay? It's very interesting to me. This should not come as a surprise to my fellow Christians though, as it says in the book of Timothy, 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit expressly says that in later times, assembled apart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teaching of demons. It also says in the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 14, as a result, we are no longer to be children, tossed here and there by waves, and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men, by craftiness and deceitful scheming. Now, isn't it revealing that biblical scripture is describing exactly what Democrats are doing by craftily and deceitfully ensuring that they can toss our children's morals here and there by waves carried about by every wind of doctrine, or in this case, legislation. This is exactly why my wife and I and countless other parents are now put in the position where we are grilling our children after every school day about what is being taught. I don't care what the legislation is anywhere. You will not teach my children that it is acceptable to live contrary to God's will. And whether I take legal action, civilly or otherwise, I promise you that this is a battle that the party of iniquity, or the Democrat Party as you know them in America, will lose. Regardless of what legislation you pass, you will not teach our children to think like you. As always, guys, I thank you for stopping by, and I ask that if you find it in the kindness of your heart to like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be safe, be good, be blessed, and most importantly of all, remember that tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Have a good one, guys.